Right, so this is episode 21.
Woohoo!
And it is October 17th.
Nice.
October.
Wow, I cannot believe that we have been doing this for as long as we have.
Yeah.
And the number of listeners goes up every single month.
So is it almost? It's almost 2 years, I'm guessing, from the amount of episodes.
We're
Typically
just
do
after a
once a
year. Yeah. It's what a year was January, so it's almost 2 years. Yeah, we're like 3 months away from being 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny how it's almost double the listeners every. So I'm just quickly
Really?
taking a look at the downloads that we've had. Let me see, in the past week.
So do you have intentions, or have you been to the Queen Mary?
We went to the Haunted Harbor. Yes.
Okay, fun. Yeah, there's like six haunts there, right?
I didn't do all 6. I did 4 of them. 2 of them went underneath.
The captain's really cool, and like
Yeah.
some of the characters, like.
Well, I did the under the ship. There were 2 that went inside the ship. The rest
Okay.
are outside. There's only 2
Oh, sweet.
inside.
Oh, so you can pay by like one, or you can do like a whole package price
Yeah,
for some
and
ridiculous amount of money.
I did the ones in the ship, and they were fucking scary, dude. I
Yeah.
must have screamed because you're in the bottom of the ship, like you're in the steam room, and it was almost like being in fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. Like
Oh,
there's,
nice.
There's
Oh,
these steam
cool.
rooms, and it's an act. They're like
Oh, it's small and tight in the
yeah,
ship, too,
dude.
you know what I
And
mean?
there's these
So it's like-
steel metal walkways and steps.
Oh, man.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Dude, and it had it lit like it was fucking the steam room in a fucking Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare
It
on
was
Elm
fucking
Street.
scary.
Nice.
But just to say, all the devils are here. We've hit 200 listens. 200
What?
times. That file has been downloaded 200 times.
Wow.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think a lot of people were told it was a good movie and found out it wasn't, and they all agree with us.
Yeah.
The Babysitter is number 2 at 189 downloads.
That was a great show. I like
Yeah,
that.
that was good.
Our very first episode is at 177 listeners.
Nice.
And our Pet Cemetery episode is at 140.
Ugh. Trash movie.
Oh,
Yeah, again, they're like bad movies that get all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What is that about?
Well, I know what I think it is. I think people do a lot of searches for bad movies because they go and they rent one and they're like, what garbage is this?
Yeah. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I can't
so
believe we have that many
that's-
downloads.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. Like even week over week, we average a 40 listeners a week.
Nice.
So I'm just looking, throughout the past the September and October, we average about 40 listeners a week. Our lowest was 0 downloads, and that was just this past week.
Now, do they count that by like IP address, or because if I listen to like a show like 40 times in 1 week, do they count me as all 40 or?
And, well, it depends how you do it, right? If this is looking at all different methods of listening to it, so if I look at
Okay.
the methods, I can tell, did they download it with the iTunes podcast app? Was it downloaded with the Google podcast app? Was it downloaded with some other podcast app? Actually, there's like 4 or 5 different podcast apps that are pretty widely used, apparently, based on what I'm seeing here. Or if they listen to it with the internet stream. It also tells me the average amount of time that somebody listens. And the average time is 30 minutes. So they listen for half of our show.
Oh, that's good.
There are some people that you look and it's like 5 minutes and then they stop. Let's see. And a couple episodes at 10, 15 minutes and then they stop.
It's kind of like me watching porn.
You
After
just
5
you're
minutes,
just
I'm
looking
done.
to people are just downloading us to get the pertinent information about the show we talked about or the movie we talked about, I guess. So it's cool. The statistics
Yeah.
program that I have is pretty neat because it'll break down the top applications that are being used to listen. It doesn't keep track of like if someone listened for 10 minutes and then listened again for 10 minutes. It'll just say the average length of uninterrupted listening is 30 minutes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, thanks,
because-
everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and tell your friends. We want more. It's kind of funny because I have a friend that does a podcast, and he records a 3-hour show.
Oh, Jesus.
And I said, dude, that is long. I said I don't. When I listen to podcasts, I even turn on like my app supports speeding up the talking. So it speeds it up to 1.5 times the normal rate because I want to get through more shows, and I like about an hour in length maximum.
Yeah, an hour is about what I listen to. There's some that I listen to are like an hour and a half, and I'll end up having to cut them off after an hour because
Yeah. I mean, at some point
Nice if
you're
you're
going to
going on a
lose
trip, I
steam,
guess.
right? I mean, how much time can you actually fill?
right.
The other thing too is I like the shows that are brief and concise. 30 minutes
Yep.
are nice sized podcasts to be
Yeah.
quick. And I think we're kind of in the middle. We do about a half an hour worth of news and a half an hour worth of reviews and our top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get quickly into horror news.
Okay. I just
Um,
want to throw it out there again, Marianne, and maybe we want to talk about it next.
Yeah, I think we should. How
Podcast.
many episodes are there, or is it just
There's 8.
8?
There's 8.
So it's one
Yeah.
season.
How many have you watched?
6. I finished 6 last
Okay.
night,
Wow.
so I only have 2 left. And I think it's just a once and done like The Haunting of Hill House. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know until I watch episode 8, I guess.
Wow.
So it's insanely good. I love it. It's
I
one of
added
the
it
best
to my
horror-
list, and I have not watched it yet. My daughter and I are gonna watch it, but it is October,
Yep.
and October we have we prefer watching movies over TV shows. We like to
Same here.
line up a bunch of horror movies that we watch every
Mhm,
year.
mhm.
Yep.
We throw a couple new ones in there. I'm going to
The classics.
Yep. As a matter of fact, there's one that I'm throwing into the mix this year that my daughter has not seen yet, and I think she'll like it, and that is Candyman, the very first one.
That's
wow.
a good one. Yeah.
I-
That is a good one to throw in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did watch Pumpkinhead last weekend.
Nice.
Did she like it?
Yep. She said it was pretty damn scary, and I said it's funny how the story and the horror and the gore and that kind of holds up after all these years.
Yeah, that old lady's creepy.
Yeah. That original Pumpkinhead was fantastic.
Yep.
And we also watched. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago. We watched Ghoulies.
Great one.
Yeah, another great one. And we also watched the Gate.
Oh, that's another good one too.
Yeah, a
Yep.
fantastic one. So yeah, getting
So
in-
yeah, as Craig mentioned before, the
yeah.
Marianne, like he had said to us to watch it, and he told us it was in subtitles, and I was like, does that mean I got to read?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I was Bloody Disgusting. Basically said the same thing that Craig did. It's pretty scary. So
Yeah,
I'm
It
gonna have
is.
to check it out now.
Yeah,
I guess.
we're definitely gonna watch it.
It's new scares. It's yeah.
All right,
Good stuff.
let's get into the news. Doctor Sleep.
Okay.
Initial
Just saw the trailer.
Yeah, initial
good.
reviews
Before we started.
are very
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
So I'm very excited by it. The new trailer is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Stephen King stories are really on a roll, and for whatever reason, it seems like maybe people are running out of original material, but now all of Stephen King's stories are slowly becoming in a TV show or movie or one form or
Yeah.
another.
It's true.
Stranger Things season 4 has begun filming.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Now,
Nice.
have mixed feelings about this, and we talked about it when we did our
Yeah.
discussion about.
I think it
things.
should have ended after
Yeah,
3.
yeah, like it would have went out on such a great note,
On a high note.
Yeah,
And we don't. Well, you don't know if Hopper's dead or not. That's the
but
thing.
the thing is, like, you keep rolling these stories and stretching them to stretch money out of it, and you're just ruining a great
Yeah.
story.
Yep.
But you don't know because I didn't think season 3 would have been as good as.
And it was
And
probably
it was.
the best. I think
Yeah,
it
they
was the
said
best
what
one.
67 million.
Yeah,
Really?
Netflix said 67 million people. Yeah.
It was my favorite of
It
the 3.
was
Yeah.
perfectly done. The storyline was great. You've
Well,
already
you're going to get out of the 80s too. That's the other thing that'll make me sad is if you ever get out of the 1980s.
yeah. But the thing I liked about it
The
is
kids will be wearing flannel and listening to Nirvana.
exactly. It'll be the
Season
grunge,
5,
the grunge
right?
phase. Yeah, the thing that is great about season 3 is you're so attached to the characters now, but the one thing you notice right off the bat is everybody is literally getting older. Like,
Yeah.
when you're making a show about kids, you can't. How far can you stretch it, right?
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
we're,
And that's sort of my point too. With,
Yeah.
they get into the 90s and you're like, oh,
we're
kids
getting
are old.
yeah. Part 4 is just. I wish they would have killed it, but we'll see what they do with it.
Yep.
Stephen King has a new show on HBO that premieres this January called The Outsider. And
Yeah, I saw
it
that.
looks phenomenal.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Like
Looks really good.
When
First
is
of
it
all,
coming on?
January.
Starts in January, yeah. But the thing is, there are a lot of big players in this series. There are a lot
Yeah.
of big stars in it.
You're thinking it's a comedy or
No,
No,
it's
it's a horror
It's based
suspense.
off like a recent book of his too, right?
Yes.
Like I think that
Yep.
book is just came out like last year,
Yep.
okay?
from what I read, and the plot of it is intriguing.
It was a #1 on New York Times bestseller list, and it's been rated as a outstanding, just breathtaking suspense story. So I
Okay,
just
good.
in the trailer, I was like, "Holy crap! I want to see this."
Yeah, it's a good looking trailer. I just saw that yesterday.
Yes. So it has Jason Bateman and Ben Mendelsohn. So like, it's,
Love Jason Bateman.
yeah, it just looks.
Yeah,
like
he's
it's gonna be
starring and
awesome.
directing, I believe, right?
Yep. Yeah, so that looks fantastic. Can't wait for that. HBO always cranks out some pretty decent series, so I'm looking forward to it. Especially, you look at what they did with True Detective season 1 and season 3, both
yeah.
just phenomenal.
Yep.
Season 2 sucked,
Right.
but 1 and
Yeah.
2 were amazing.
I actually didn't watch season 2, believe it or not.
I started to
'Cause
and
I heard it was
stopped.
bad.
I
Yeah, 'cause
stopped
I heard
after
it
like
was
4
bad.
episodes.
Yeah, I think I
Watchmen,
did 3
guess They're
episodes.
doing that on HBO too, right?
Now the trailer for
trailers
the
for
new
that look
Watchmen,
good.
yeah, it looks really good. I'm really excited to see that too.
Yeah, outside of that, HBO's been pretty stale. I subscribe to it, so it's like, yeah, there hasn't been anything good on it since Game of Thrones ended.
We just got the Ballers just finished its series, and I like
Happy
that.
Death Day to You just was on too, I guess. I didn't watch it yet. Did you guys see Happy Death Day?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What else is in the news, Sal?
What was that?
So what else is in the news?
The director of The Witch is
Yep.
now directing a Viking revenge film.
Well, no, what about The Lighthouse? Oh, no, that was different.
I
The
think
Lighthouse
he's
is
for-
different. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a Viking,
Viking
revenge
revenge,
film.
huh?
It's called The Northmen.
I saw the trailer for that, too. Looks good.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited for that too. The Witch was amazing to begin with, but I'm looking forward to this.
So what's the premise besides Viking revenge? You mean it's kind of like a
It is like well, I don't have a
Viking
lot of
revenge.
information on it. It's basically a saga set in Iceland at the turn of the 10th century.
Okay.
So it's like a horror based on that.
but there is a trailer out.
Yeah, there's a small
All
trailer.
right, check
for
it
that.
out.
The Lighthouse also, he directed that too, but also that one looks pretty good too. Willem Dafoe looks pretty
Oh, yeah.
awesome in the trailers to that one.
Yeah, Craig
Yeah.
and I were just discussing going to see that when it comes out next week, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
They are remaking The Craft. Now, The Craft was not a great movie to begin with.
I liked it. It was different for the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was different for the time, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was not horrible. It wasn't a horrible movie.
Yeah,
some
who
cute-
did I see?
cute chicks
an
in it.
actor, who's a big actor.
Yeah, so David Duchovny has
Yeah,
been
it was
cast
Duchovny,
in it.
that's it. Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, he's an okay actor. He wasn't in.
Yeah,
it.
I like him.
Well,
I like him.
I mean, do you know that? What was that one movie that he was in where he was like a dummy scientist and a crater landed and all these like insect
Oh
creatures?
yeah. Evolution. Or
Evolution.
something, I
Yeah,
think.
that's what it
Yeah.
was. I just see him as a B movie kind of actor. He was great in TV shows, but movies. I don't think he's ever in anything that was really that big, right?
That's what I can recall.
yeah.
Now.
Nope.
Yeah, so I don't know, but they have the cast of, and I don't think any of them are anyone that I've heard of. I guess they're young people, so maybe I shouldn't have heard of them. But let's see, Kaylee Spaney, Gideon Aiden,
Yep.
Love Simones, Zoe Luna. I don't know any of these people. David Duchovny's
Nor
the
do
only
I.
one I know. But it's being remade by Blumhouse and
Nice.
Columbia Pictures.
They do
is
good work.
distributing it. Yeah. In What We Do in the Shadows, season 2 started shooting last month.
Nice.
Yep.
Such a good show.
Great first season.
Yep. So I thought season 1 was amazing. I really hope that season 2 is just as good, if not better.
Should be.
The comedy is great. The storyline was pretty good, especially with how they left it on the cliffhanger at the end was pretty nice. And that's what makes me eager to kind of see it again.
Yep.
Castle Rock season 2 is on Hulu now.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. I just couldn't get into season 1. Like I tried.
I enjoyed season 1, and it looks like it's an anthology. It looks like they're not tied together directly. And all the reviews of it have been pretty good. Like even Arrow in the Head give it 9 out of 10. So
Really?
I'm kind of.
So is it like the town in the story? Is like Needful Things store there in the town or no?
Yeah, it was in the first one, and I think it is here too.
Okay.
It all takes place in Castle Rock, but they're all different stories. Like it doesn't.
Is it the same? Is it the same shopkeeper? Or
No,
it's
it's,
a
no,
Needful
this is
thing?
different. No,
Yeah.
no, this is just like 2 different stories completely. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but if
Okay.
you didn't see season 1, then maybe you should
But
give it
the-
a second try.
Yeah.
It turned out pretty good. I didn't necessarily like the way they ended the season. It left it on a cliffhanger that pissed me off, but it was good overall. The suspense
I
was
got
good.
maybe like 5 episodes in and just
The mystery of it I thought was pretty good. Well, did you get to the point where they kind of started to show you what was going on, or no?
no.
Yeah.
I think that was the problem. I kept waiting for them to show me what was going on. And
Yeah,
it's like,
they
come on.
they do get to that, so that's kind of cool.
But I did see the trailer. It looked like it caught my interest, but I don't know.
Nice. The writer Fred Decker, director Fred Decker, who directed Night of the Creeps, is bringing back the original cast for Night of the Creeps Part 2.
Oh, sweet.
So
What,
that's interesting.
they're going to be like Netflix or Shudder, maybe?
They didn't say. He's working on the script. They're negotiating, bringing the cast back. Of course, the kids are all grown up, and is what's his name even still alive? I guess he must be. The guy who's the freaking cop in that one? Shit. What was the?
Drawing a blank.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Damn old age.
He was the dad in Creep Show at the beginning with the comic book. You're reading this trash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can't remember.
I
the
can
dude's
picture
name.
him.
Yep.
But he was in the
The name
original Night of
escapes
the Creeps. Is he's still alive? I guess he must be.
He was in Halloween 3 too, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He was. Yeah,
He was a cop. Was he a cop in that too,
I
right?
think he was. I think he always plays like a tough guy, right?
You're a cop.
And he was even. I think he was even. No, I'm trying to think of what other movie he was in, but he was in a lot of movies. He always played the dad, the cop, the private eye, or whatever. He was always kind of the masculine character.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'm going to Google his name because I can't remember, and I just keep seeing his face in my freaking head.
That's what Google's for.
Yeah, right?
That and a spy on you.
Everybody spies on me. All right, so Creep Show cast.
Has anybody watched Creep Show on Shudder yet?
No.
That started after our last show, right?
Tom Atkins, there you go.
Tom Atkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have Shudder.
Yeah, I've heard good reviews about the Creep Show, and I'm like, ugh.
I keep hearing great stuff about it, but can we get it on Blu-ray or something? I might have to just get it digital. I might have to buy the digital from iTunes like I had to with freaking...
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching, what you call it now? Damn it, Mr. Robot. Season.
Oh, that's
the
a great show.
Yeah, the new season. I had to get it digital because I don't have USA.
I got to finish season 3 yet.
Man, season 4. Woo! Opened with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we at here?
We're still doing news. I got one or two things if you're done. But
Yeah, go for it. Go.
This Saturday night on Sci-Fi, Critters Attack.
Oh yeah,
It's an
I actually got
Go
a
ahead.
digital copy of that right now. I just haven't watched it.
Oh,
yet.
really? So it's been out
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, it's at Redbox on Blu-ray.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, they're going to be showing it on Sci-Fi on Saturday night, so I plan on watching. I saw the trailer for it and it looks really good.
Yeah, wasn't
I
it?
love
It was
those
on
Critters
some
movies.
some online streaming service, and then they released it
Really?
on Blu-ray, and now it's going to like other services. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was like brand new.
No, it came out. It came out last. We talked about it on one of our shows.
Well, there was the series that was out.
Yeah, but this new movie remake was part of that. It was like
Oh, was it?
yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind then.
What's it? What was it
Edit
called?
this
Critters
out.
Attack, right?
Yeah, Critters Attack.
I'm gonna Google it because I think it was on. Yeah, it was on Amazon.
Okay. I was thinking of the series before. I thought this was new.
Yeah, it says it was released July 13th.
Oh, so it's okay. So we probably did talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
but-
I'm pretty sure we did. We mentioned it in our horror news along with the TV show. But what's her name is in it? The girl from Cujo, the mom from Cujo. What was her name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
she's in it in this new one. She was the mom in the original too, right? When she had the mom at the farmhouse, the blonde.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
she's back in this one too.
What channel is it on?
Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
It's a good Saturday night during the month of October thing to watch.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the original Critters I loved,
Yeah, me too. I was a big fan.
but the second one got way too B movie. It got really too silly.
Yeah, this one looks like it's kind of a good blend of horror and B movie ish. But yeah, I dig that.
Yeah. So
The other was I think I posted it on the website today. The Evil Dead. They got a new director.
yeah. So is this like a continuation of the first? Or are they picking up like is this going to be a fourth?
Well, that's what they weren't really sure when I was reading it. If it's if you know they've got a director and Sam Raimi is there for consultation, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they're going to
And
go
they
with
talked
a
about
brand new
passing the
reboot.
torch, and they talked.
Yeah. They haven't really let on about that yet. If they're going to like kind of go off of the last one,
Yeah.
or if it's going to be another reboot with a whole new like Ash type character or something like that. But whichever it is, I'll definitely watch it because
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
so that's all I got then. You had touched on a couple of the others. That
Yeah,
I
one
had.
of the things that Craig mentioned about the Stranger Things season 3, I just read here in the news that they broke a record by in the first 30 days of being online, 64 million different individual user accounts
Oh my God!
watched
Wow.
the show.
So yeah, times
So that-
each household.
Yeah,
you know, and your
but that's
kids watch it
64
separate from you
million individual accounts. Like some people have multiple accounts for their family, some have
And they're
Yeah.
letting their friends like sign
Yeah,
on to them
yeah.
or it's
so
crazy.
you got to imagine
It
like
was a
4
great
times
season.
that, and people actually saw it, right?
Mm-hmm. So you can see why they want to tap into that cash cow at least one more time.
Yeah. Hopefully
I
it
get
doesn't
it.
turn into beating a dead horse.
Ugh. Well, that would be a
I
good.
think they've done good so far. Like I said, I know.
They could probably make that into like a whole season of beating a dead horse.
Get some money out of it one way or another, right?
Yeah, the horse.
Let me see. What else we got going on?
Hey, did you were recently at Disneyland?
Yes.
The haunted mansion there. They do like a Nightmare Before
Yes.
Christmas like
a whole
theme going
layover.
on.
They lay over the whole inside of the whole ride.
How was that?
Freaking great. I loved it. I love
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas, and I love that ride. The only thing I don't love about that ride, so living out here, I got a annual pass.
Mhm.
My daughter and I go over to Disneyland probably once a week right now. While we're
Nice.
because we want to go on that because that's only a seasonal thing. It runs for 4 months and then they stop.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a fast pass, I posted I think a picture of the waiting in line is 180-minute wait
Oh, Jesus.
to get into that ride.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It looks pretty sweet though. I saw like a thing on the Travel Channel where they switch from regular to Halloween.
Yeah.
In like 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they focused on the haunted mansion. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
And they only do that in California.
Only
too,
in
don't they?
California.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for 19 years. This was the 19th year.
And they got that like giant jack-o'-lantern Mickey head like right there in the
beginning
Yep.
of the park. Yeah,
Sure.
yep.
Yeah.
They do that down in Florida too. Yeah. The other thing they do, Disney. The cool thing about Disneyland is they really go all out with decorations for Halloween. They put more decorations up for Halloween than they do for Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of Halloween decorations. And
Nice.
Next Thursday, my daughter and I are going to. They have this. They do these like parties at night. It's like an extra $100 you have to pay, and it's a party that lasts like 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours. I think we go at 3. The party starts at 6 and ends at 11. But it's
What's it like a rave?
no, it's like $110, but they like close off the park and only let the people that paid in. And they have like trick or treat routes. They have all the character meet and greets. They have like special parades. They have like nighttime riding of the rides with Halloween layovers on them.
Sweet.
They have like
Cool.
Oogie Boogie taking over the California Adventure Park.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Which is really pretty awesome. Yeah. So we've gone on the Haunted Mansion with the Nightmare Before Christmas layover for like, I don't know, 10 times already this season. But every time I do Fast Pass, because I am not waiting 180 minutes for any
Yeah, that's a long-
ride ever.
It's a long ass
Do you
line.
get how many do you get Fast Pass with your season?
I had to pay an extra $130 for what's called Max Pass.
Yeah.
And that gets you walk into the park. Actually, you're within proximity of the park that you can get on their Bluetooth network, and it detects you're near the park. You can start picking Fast Passes. I can have up to 3 at a time,
Okay.
which under normal circumstances you can't. You can only have 1 Fast Pass at a time, and you have to go to like this little booth to get the pass and all that.
Yeah, we did that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do it on my phone. And part of my annual pass too is I paid extra to get the Fast Pass, and comes with it unlimited photo access. So when you go around the park and they want to take your picture and then you go look at it and you got to pay for it,
Right.
all the photos they take show up on my phone automatically for free. I don't have to pay for them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's really pretty
Sweet.
neat.
Nice.
They call it Max Pass and Photo Pass. And it stays downloadable. Like it comes in your Disneyland app. You can download the photos down to your photo software.
Mhm.
But it also stays available if you like accidentally delete it or something. It stays available for a year. All the photos they take.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice being this close to Disneyland, where I just got to do a 40 minute or less, depending on traffic. Let's just go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, last Thursday we went. We ate dinner, $15 a person. You get 20% off meals and 15% off merchandise as an annual pass holder. So we go there. We had dinner, went on 2 rides, and came home.
You run it into any celebs? No.
Jack Black was there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I guess it was his 50th birthday. He was there with his family. And the thing about being a star that I realized is you don't got to do anything like anyone else. Like they have 2 guides with them that let them on rides. They don't wait in line.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I guess if you're a megastar like Jack Black, do you really want to be waiting in line and have people ask you for autographs and shit?
That's
The
true.
whole time.
Yeah. So they have 2 guides that take him and his whole family, and they kind of butt in line, which twice on 2 rides we got butt in line by Jack Black and family. But that was kind of cool. And then we watched, like, they have the fireworks show at night, and they have this thing called Phantasmic that's in the water.
Mhm.
And Jack Black got this, like, special roped off section with chairs for him and his family.
Oh, the good life.
Yeah, to be a star. I guess they only
Maybe
they
someday.
only
Maybe
do that
that'll
for
be us
A-listers,
someday once we
though.
get a few more listeners.
Yeah, they only do that for A-listers. They also have this thing out here in California called Club 33.
Mhm.
You pay like $30,000, and then you get this exclusive club access in Disneyland. Like there's this
Oh.
big door with like a golden emblem that says Club 33, and you have a little like key fob you hold up to it. It lets you in, and then you have like I don't know what the hell goes on back there, but it's like dining and all
Interesting.
kinds of shit. Yeah.
Some crazy Disney shit goes on back
Yeah,
there.
to be a star, to be an A-lister.
Goofy's like in like
Give
a
it to
ball
Cinderella.
gag, and
Yeah.
Minnie's got a whip.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get on with top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 horror movie franchises. Now, let me quickly log into our website and take a look at how the rotation is for who does what.
I think I went first last time, if I remember
I
correctly.
believe you may have. I think it was you, me, and Craig. So I think this time it's me. Just let me double check. Where the hell's the top 5? Here it is. Yeah, Chris, Sal, Craig. So then this time it is Sal, Craig, Chris. All right.
Alrighty.
This was difficult for me, to say the
I told
least.
Chris that earlier before we started.
Yeah.
I had a hard
There
time
are a
telling
lot. I didn't really realize it, but there are so many horror movie franchises. And not only horror movie franchises, but horror movie franchises that were actually good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are some stinkers out there, right? There's a couple franchises I can mention that are stinkers. But let's go ahead and do our top 5. So, my number 5 is the Hannibal Lecter series.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's number
I
5 for
didn't,
me.
I didn't even think of that one.
I didn't expect that.
So far, there's, 4 movies in that franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my favorite of them all is Silence of the Lamb and Red Dragon right after that.
Red Dragon was a good one.
But that's my number 5. It was tough to narrow it all down, but I think that one, although not the scariest of all the franchises, this one is, I like it. It's in there.
Well written.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
And the
good
connective tissue of all those things, of all the movies, is good. It's not like they're rehashing bullshit over and over again.
Right,
It's
right,
really
right.
a great long kind of story with the right connective tissue, not necessarily the main character being the same all the way through, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My number 4 is Hellraiser.
Good.
That is a good one.
Hellraiser. I still to this day remember the very first time I watched the very first Hellraiser movie.
It's creepy as
Yeah,
shit.
it fucking freaked me out. I was pretty young. I was like junior high school.
Yeah, that was one of those ones that, like, yeah, I had a hard time sleeping after
Do you know the
watching
names of all the characters, Sal?
I'm sorry, for what?
Do you know the
For
names?
Hellraiser, I did not memorize them all, no.
Yeah.
I only know Pinhead. Come on.
Yeah, I
What else
know
do you need to know?
Pinhead.
The
Yeah, that was
Cenobites,
creepy.
right? They're just called the Cenobites.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cen-
Cenobites. Yeah.
But I can't remember their names. My number 3 is Halloween.
Yeah.
Good one, good one.
Halloween it has a mixed bag of films,
Mhm.
but I think the solid films hold it all together. 1, 2, 3, not so much. 4, and the latest one was pretty
Yeah.
good too. And now they're making another one called Halloween Kills.
Yeah, and that's the continuation of this most recent
Jamie
one, right?
Lee
Yeah.
Curtis again.
Yeah.
I have to say the last one, I didn't care for.
It was okay. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't digging that.
Yeah, and the thing is when you have a franchise that has so many films, there could be a couple of stinkers in there, but
Yeah.
the fact that it was able to produce so many movies is a testament to the franchise itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. My number 2, Saw.
Nice, nice, good one.
The first 3 are my favorites. I haven't watched the new one yet.
I really like the new one.
I
And
have to
it's-
watch
It's
it.
funny because when it came out, you think how are they going to do
Yeah,
this?
exactly.
And then when you watch it, like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything past 3 actually.
Really?
Actually,
Yeah.
I liked them all, and we actually that's one of the things we do every time around Halloween is watch the entire series.
I have the first 4 on
So when the
DVD.
new one came out 2
Now they're
years ago,
redoing that too, aren't
yeah,
they? Saw?
yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Rock is redoing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 4 I have on DVD. In fact, I
And it's-
remember when my daughter first got to the age where she could really watch horrifically based horror movies,
Uh-huh.
She was like, "Dad, can I watch this one?" I go, "Hey, I don't know if you want that one to be your first." but she watched the
true.
first 3. So, all right. And my number 1, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
in that series, there's a couple duds, right? But
Oh yeah,
1,
definitely.
3, 4, and 5, right there. Those 4 are like to me the ones that make the series.
Did you like the remake?
I thought the remake was pretty good. A lot of people poo-pooed it. It didn't do that well.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
That's one thing I don't like about like horror, like any genre, whether you got like super
Yeah,
fans who
nostalgia
like
kills it.
poo anything that comes
Yeah.
out that like is different than the
Yeah,
original.
there are people that are just so hooked onto the nostalgia of it that no
Right.
remake would ever be any good, right?
I'm willing to give anything a chance.
Yeah. And my honorable mentions, I've got 2. The Conjuring series, of course. It's not the most horrific of horror, right? But it's
No.
it's good. It's scary. You get a lot of jump scares. And
Right.
Alien, the Alien series.
Nice,
Which,
nice.
is it sci-fi? Is it horror? Is it sci-fi horror? It's both.
Right? Yeah, I agree. Nice. It's a good top 5.
Awesome.
Yep.
Craig.
Okay. My number 5, I went with Creepshow.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 2 movies and now the series.
And the comic book. I mean,
Oh
if
yeah,
you-
yeah,
like
the
we
comic
were
book
talk-
too. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I mean that's what the whole.
We talked about that. I actually have an original print of
Really
the first comic book. Yeah.
nice.
Yep. It was, I forget, 1982 or 83, I can't remember. But he just passed last year, the guy that did all the artwork.
Oh,
really?
Who did the
Yeah.
artwork? Do you know?
Not off the top.
I can't remember.
Bern Wrightson?
All right.
Art by, Bern
Was that a
Wrightson.
Dark Horse series? Who did that series? For the comics.
Plume?
All right.
Yeah.
I think you can download it on Comixology. The what's that? The Amazon electronic comic program.
Yep. Yeah, so that was number 5. My number 4, I went with Insidious.
Nice. That's a good series.
Those are good ones. How many? Is there 4?
Yeah.
I think I've only seen 2.
What was it, The Last Key, I think.
Yeah, I think I
4.
still have to catch up on 3 and 4. I didn't see.
yeah.
Yeah.
4 was okay.
I liked the first 2.
3, yeah. Yeah, was it the Dark Bride or whatever that was? It was like creepy as heck.
Nice.
Number 3, I had Halloween as well
Nice.
for my number 3. Number 2, I went with Evil Dead.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's tough to.
Like I said,
I have that one a lot.
there's so many series to pick from, right? So
Yep.
many franchises
Yeah.
to pick from. It's difficult.
Yep. And my number 1, I went with the Conjuring universe.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because there's so many. Like it,
includes Annabelle.
Yeah.
People probably forget about
The
that,
Nun.
but- yeah.
Was it another
Yep.
spinoff?
The Nun. Yeah. Yeah, and I just, like you said, every one of those movies just.
Yeah.
It's different because I'm older. You know, I had my favorites when I was younger, but that one seemed to grab, the right strings when I'm older. Now, just when I watch them, I think they're pretty good. They scare me still, and it's hard to do.
Yeah, it's true.
Honorable mentions, I went to Psycho.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of those.
Had quite a
movies.
few, right?
Yeah.
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 And remakes.
Yeah, and remakes.
Anthony Perkins did 2
The originals.
Actually, there is
well,
this.
the original. No, he did the original, and then he redid Psycho and Psycho 2, didn't he?
Right.
There is a.
And then there was Vince Vaughn did.
The remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the remake
And there
was,
was a
not
TV
that
show,
good
too.
though. The remake was not that good. They
With Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
No, yeah. That had, Ian Hayes was in that
yeah
one.
they
too, I
tried
think,
to
right?
remake a lot of scenes shot for shot that they just didn't do well with.
Yep.
Then there was the TV series, The Bates Motel, which
Yeah.
That
you
one
can
was.
include that in the- yeah, but you can include it in the.
yeah, as part of a
Yeah,
it
franchise.
spawned further renditions of its
It's funny.
Yep, and I had
There's
2
a
more.
documentary out about the shower scene part of that movie on
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah?
It's like an hour long, and it's a fantastic
Oh, wow.
documentary. I
Should
love
watch
it.
And then I had 2 more: Texas Chainsaw and the Scream series.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because Texas Chainsaw, besides the original one, and then a couple. They also then did remakes and remakes of remakes and.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, there's this great. The name of the documentary is called Psycho 78/52 because it breaks down 78 shots done in 52 sequences. It breaks down the whole shower scene bit for bit. It has behind the scenes pictures, behind the scenes interviews. It has the body double of what's her name, an interview with her, talking about some of the more gratuitous scenes that they had to cut out. But fantastic documentary. My daughter and I watched it last week after watching our.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. All right, so my top 5. Now, when I did this, I was trying to think besides movies, like a franchise, if they had video games that they then made off of the characters, or TV series that they branched off on. So I was trying to think of things like that besides just movies. But it didn't always work out that way. So my number 5 was Scream. It had really the 4 movies I think were really good, and then they have two seasons of the series out that are actually supposed to be pretty good. I haven't watched them, but my daughter's watched them and says they're really good.
Yeah, they had it on MTV, right?
Yeah, that's the series I think.
They renewed, I think, the season.
Did they?
Right?
So there's going to be a third one out.
I think so. Yeah.
Number 4 was Friday the 13th. Besides, I mean, it's cheesy '80s slasher, but it kind of was one of the things that started.
That
it's a
probably
mixed
has
bag.
the most
Yeah,
movies
it's another
out of
mixed
all
bag.
the franchise, though, right? That has the most movies.
Oh yeah,
and
By
it
far.
also has
11 or 12.
Yeah,
right?
but besides the movies, and there's the remakes, and also there's a couple video games out based off of
so
Friday
yeah,
the
if you
13th.
count the remake, you're looking at 13, 14 movies.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got longevity and it's spawned a bunch of other stuff. And rewatch, because I've been rewatching them this month because I try to do that in October, is rewatch old stuff. It's just kind of funny, watching how the kills and just how cheesy the acting is, and some of the dumb shit they do in the movies. And you're like, what? Why did they even do that? But it's.
Won't they have that Geico commercial? Hey, let's go to the shed with the chainsaws or something.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my number 4. Number 3 was the Conjuring universe. Like Craig said, I mean, I'm not usually big on supernatural movies, but that really the first 2 drug me in, and then the spin-offs have been really good too.
Yep. And you could tell how my list was tainted by nostalgia.
But that's okay though, like Friday the 13th. If you were judging it based off of good horror, I mean it's not really,
no.
but it for the time it was good horror, and it's a lot of nostalgia, and And number 2 is the Saw series.
Yep.
I liked all of those. I was just always impressed how they continually figured out a way to not make it stale, and just
Well, think about it. That first one was something new. That was so different than what was out there at that time.
Well, yeah, and then they started coming out with copycat type movies. Where from the makers of Saw, or if you liked Saw, you'll like this.
Yeah.
So you're right. When it came out, it was different. It was different horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my number 1 was Evil Dead. And again, besides the fact that the movies were great,
the TV
then
show.
It spun off a TV show that was great.
The video games were pretty
been
awesome.
Some shitty video games. And there's another video
really
game
good
coming
ones.
out.
Yeah, I was always disappointed in the video game. I couldn't wait to go buy it.
Yeah, and then it wasn't that great.
There was one that I liked.
But
that was, what was it, on the PlayStation 3? You were in a hospital.
Yes.
That one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, and this new one that's coming out, Bruce Campbell's doing the voice of Ash in it, and if it's anything like the Ash versus Evil Dead series, I'm hoping, and with graphics now compared to what they were when that last one came out, I'm looking forward to it.
Get in line for that PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and then Bruce Campbell wouldn't be who he is if it wasn't for that series.
Yeah, he lost the unibrow after the first movie.
My honorable mentions, I have Nightmare on Elm Street. That series always holds a special place in my heart for nostalgia reasons. Alien, and all the movies that spawned. And then my last one was the zombie trilogy. And I really liked that family, and just that was kind of different and yet a throwback to 70s, like, grindhouse horrors.
Yeah.
So I liked that. And it was only a trilogy, but, a trilogy, I guess, you can consider it a franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's mine.
Well, he did. There was a comic book series too, Devil's Rejects comic book series.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
look up because I have a couple issues and I can't remember.
Really?
who
Was
did
it
them.
good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty graphic. Along with, I also had that other Rob Zombie series, La Sexorcisto.
Oh yeah, with the All-Star Wrestler
Yeah.
or whatever the hell he was.
Yeah, the cartoon.
No, it was a
That was
comic
more-
book.
That was more sex than it was horror.
Yeah.
though.
Let's see, what was it?
Plus, he has his music.
Yeah.
Can include that in the franchise, I guess, right?
Can't see who published it. IDW. There you go. 2005. IDW published the Devil's Rejects comics.
Huh. I'll have to check. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind checking those out.
Yeah.
All right. So there's our top 5.
Awesome. That's awesome. Top 5.
We had some crossovers there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could tell my list was really tainted by nostalgia. Like there's so many to think about. And then
Yeah,
trying
there
to
is.
narrow down the ones that are your favorites. Like, and I went by the ones that I watched over and over and over again. Like my honorable mention, and you guys had on your list, was the Conjuring universe. But most
Right.
of those movies I might have watched maybe twice.
Mhm.
They were great. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I guess nostalgia played a big role in my top 5.
And that's all right.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we watched In the Tall Grass.
Yep.
Yes, we did.
Yes. And let's.
My whole family watched it.
What we're going to do is we're going to put a spoiler alert right now. We're going to talk in depth about scenes in this movie, and it may spoil if you haven't watched it. We start getting carrying
Yeah.
on about what happened. All right.
Yeah, because there's no way you can talk about this movie without spoiling
Right.
it. Because, yeah.
So, first of all, let's
Well,
talk a little
you gotta
bit
see it.
about the idea, the premise that we got out of the trailer. Right, this tall field
Yeah.
of grass. First of all, I got the sense of almost
They
a
didn't give much away on the trailer.
no.
Just a bunch of people lost in the
But
grass.
you know what? It was enough for me to at first think, "Oh, this is kind of like Children of the Corn or something." Because look at the big, tall.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought,
it's
too.
the same scary concept. Is that this endless field of grass versus corn, but
And there's some kid in there yelling, "Help me!"
and you're obviously in like a midwestern state somewhere in the plains where there's like nothing
Which is
out there.
unusual for Stephen King. I mean, he does steer away from
Yeah.
Castle Rock or Maine once
Yep.
once in a while, and this is one of those rare movies where he did that.
Yes.
Along with 1922, I think was another one.
Yeah.
It was in the Midwest.
So just a couple quick facts about the movie. So they only filmed this back in July of 2018 with principal photography. And this was quietly filmed and worked out with Netflix. That only thing we knew was that Stephen King had more material coming to Netflix with his contract.
That's
Nobody
right.
really
Mm-hmm.
knew the original material that was being done. And it was filmed up in Ontario. So like as not to have, the U.S.
Right.
Internet influencers constantly checking out what's going on. But released on Netflix based on a novella written by him and his son, Joe Hill, he went by that pen name because he didn't want to ride his dad's coattails becoming a writer. But they wrote this novella together, and it got turned into this fantastic, I think, movie. It was pretty good.
It was good.
The
It was really good.
thing that kept blowing my mind is trying to figure out what the hell was going on, right?
the order of everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
it was
well,
like this
and-
crazy time loop.
Yeah, so you didn't know what came first.
right.
Like you were...
Yeah.
And just when you thought you were tracking it, like then something showed up. You're like, well, wait a minute, what? This happened before?
Right. And it seems like whatever was going on there, and they really didn't close the picture for you, right?
No.
Other than
No, they
you
didn't.
kind of get the impression that perhaps this came from outer space, right? That the
Yeah.
giant rock that had the carvings on it.
Yeah, that was probably the only thing that bothered me is like, what the hell's the backstory of this big giant rock?
Yeah,
But
in my impression,
what's the backstory? But it's central to the entire
Right.
thing, really.
Right,
You know,
right.
like which
Yeah.
is weird.
right?
They don't give you a lot of backstory, but it's central to
They
the
kind
story.
of leave it
Well,
to your
absolutely.
imagination, right? They
Absolutely.
give you a couple hints about what
Yeah.
possibly
Yeah.
happened based on the carvings that they glimpse
Yeah.
on the rock.
Right.
So you kind of get the
Well, and
idea.
he even says at the one point that it's been there, for a long
Right.
time. Like
Yeah.
what's his name, Ross, the guy played by Patrick Wilson.
They were definitely primitive carvings.
Right.
and
And then they give you the idea of the body count involved when they give you like the root structure underneath this that is built on
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense too. But the scene where the
Yeah.
brother stumbles upon the corpse of or the boyfriend stumbles upon the corpse of the girl that left him with the kid,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
has a nervous breakdown, and then before you know it, he's hearing her voice the next day.
Yeah, and then he runs face to face
Yeah,
with her.
so it's like this weird. It was like whatever the entity was that was manipulating the grass. It had a hold of both time and space. It had
Yeah.
the ability to shift the location of physical objects, and then they come to you. The kid goes, "Well, listen, the grass can't move anything
It's
that's
dead.
dead.
It's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So anything that dies, you can find its location, and it'll always be there because it can't be moved."
Right, yeah.
And that kind of was like, all right, now that changes like fucking everything. How did they not go back to the corpse of the girl then to all meet up, right? Because each of them stumbled on the corpse of the girl, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
right,
And then the kid who seemed to be there the longest, he was lured in there by the boyfriend who got there the last.
right.
So they sort of did, though, didn't they? Because she was by the rock, right?
Well, towards the end
Yeah.
there, that
Yeah.
crazy scene at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That was fucking wax, man. Where she was eating flesh.
Yeah, and at first, it didn't dawn on me at first what he was feeding her, and then I'm like, oh my God. Is
Yeah, I
that what
thought it was placenta. at
Is that what I
first.
think it is?
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it
fuck.
was-
What the fuck?
Yeah.
But not only that, the scene finally where the boyfriend, the brother, right, gets tackled
Oh, yeah.
by the guy, the car salesman or whatever, or realtor, and he says, "You come this way every time, and I get you every time." And then they zoom out, and it's like a whole row of corpses from every time he caught the guy,
Yep.
and I'm like, "Holy
Yeah.
fuck, what the fuck?" And then I was like,
Well, and he
then I'm like lost.
and he knew like there was like secret passages that you knew if you touched the
Right.
rock.
Well, that's
And
the
he
thing.
knew the passages, so he knew where to pop up to find
But
them.
do you not remember
because he touched the
like
rock.
the boy when he met the girl? He said, "Well, the rock
Yeah, he went up
tells
and
me
touched
how
the
to
rock.
listen to the grass." So he already touched the rock.
Yeah.
But then at the end,
Yeah,
he
well, that was the
didn't.
one part I didn't get.
Yeah, I'm like,
His dad was trying to force him to touch the rock there at the end, but he had already touched the rock,
Yeah.
so it must have been a different time
right,
loop.
right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the kid was
Yeah,
like,
it was-
"Oh yeah,
it was
the
diff-
rock tells me how to listen to the grass."
Yeah, because the kid was acting like his dad towards the beginning. of
Right,
the
right. When you
movie,
first meet the kid,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's all dirty, and he's like,
Yeah, it was trippy.
Well, and that's the thing
It's
too.
definitely
Is
trippy.
when he was when the girl was talking to the kid, and the kid's like, "Yeah, I know how to take you there. I know how to get you there. Follow me."
Right.
And the kid already touched a rock at that point, and he knew all the pathways
Yes.
and all the gates that kind of jump you from one place to another. So he took her to where she needed to be because that kid knew everything. But then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he didn't know everything because he never touched the rock. The thing was crazy. And when they finally concluded the story, which I thought was pretty amazing, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, because they decided not to go in.
yeah, the boyfriend basically says, "You know what? I'm going to take one for the team. I'm
Yeah.
going to touch the rock."
but did he? That's the other thing.
Well, so that
that's
was
sort
kind of like the theme of it for the most part. It was redemption. They were all redeeming something.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he was redeeming, deciding that he didn't want her to have the kid. He didn't want to be part of her and the kid's life, so he left them.
Yeah.
But then within the grass, he redeemed himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think everyone did, except for the brother.
right.
He was still a douchebag at the
Right,
end.
and the sister, the
But he
girlfriend
lived,
was
which was
like, "Yeah, I
stomach.
left because I was giving up the child," and then it was
Right.
there was a whole backstory and stuff that went on there, and they all
I
each
thought
had
they
a
were going to
role,
let
like you
him
say,
walk. I thought they were going to let the brother walk into the grass
with
too.
redemption, right? Yeah. So the brother,
Yeah.
when the brother finally touched the rock and said, "You know what? I'm going to touch a rock and take one for the team," because he's the one that witnessed the first gate, right? He's the one that
Yeah.
saw the
Yeah.
dog run through a patch of
And then
grass.
come out the other side of the street.
Right, and come out on the other side of the street. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh shit, that's one of the gate.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways out." but that guy
Yeah.
that ruined by a jealous, retarded brother.
Yep.
Who like let him fall off
Jealous.
the roof.
Yeah, yeah,
Extremely jealous.
yeah.
Yeah, he was.
That guy was fucking.
And he even
whacked.
called him out on that too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. He's a little creepy.
yeah, more than a little creepy. That was fucking whacked.
Yeah.
But yeah,
A lot
so
creepy.
I like the movie very much. I like the way they ended.
It was different.
Yeah, it was something unexpected for sure, and different. Yeah, because I did not throughout the whole movie I could not figure out exactly what was going on until the very end.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh shit. But the only thing I was left with an unanswered question is, what is the exact timeline? Who really got there first?
Right.
And how did they all wind up out and the boyfriend not, even though that event never happened? It was so wild. It was wild.
Well, yeah, and it gave you some, like I felt kind of claustrophobic a lot as they were like going through the grass, like trying to find each other, and like they
Yeah,
were all sweaty
yeah.
and dirty, and it made you feel
Very
like,
uncomfortable.
Like I said, claustrophobic.
Yeah, nobody you never saw anybody eat.
Yeah.
But sometimes you thought they were there for like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah, but they did show
crazy.
everybody dead at least once, right? Except for maybe the dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say the kid. Did they show the kid dead? Tobin? That was the kid, right?
Yeah,
Tobin?
Tobin.
I don't remember. I thought you heard
Ron
him
was the
get
dad.
killed.
You saw the dog dead.
Yeah, but I thought you heard him get killed. The girl.
That was the first thing you saw. Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the girl. I thought the girlfriend heard the kid get killed. And I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think you heard it.
Yeah.
I think you're right now. You say that.
I don't think you saw his corpse, but you heard
It's
his.
probably his dad that killed
Yeah,
him.
you heard the
if I
kid
had to
die.
guess.
You heard the mom die. You seen the boyfriend die. You seen the girlfriend die. Did you
Got his
see
head
the
crushed.
boyfriend? The brother you saw die, but the boyfriend that was
Cal,
searching
was it-
for
was
everyone.
it
I don't
Cal?
remember if we saw him die.
Don't worry.
Cal and Becky and Travis was the boyfriend.
It's only
I think.
flesh as he's crushing his head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. Yeah, but then at the end,
Yeah, there was some like good gore to it too. I mean, first they had a little bit of everything, really.
yeah, and the fact that the one gate led to the church. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that church. So it was the church. It wasn't a church like the Church of the Black
right,
Rock.
they were praising the rock. The rock was their god.
Yeah, and the one thing I noticed is if you looked at like the cars that were in the parking
Yeah.
lot, they were from varying like time periods.
Yes.
It was like a VW
Well,
Beetle,
yeah.
and
Well, that's because those grass people were.
well,
there
yeah. Who knows?
for-
So who knows how long this field and that rock have been feasting on like
Yeah.
people's driving by, and
Like you said, a '70s bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. A long time.
yeah, it was good. It was different. It was different, which is in horror, it's good to find something that's different and entertaining.
And I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. Like, it was well produced. It was well written. The storylines were
Acting
pretty
was good.
solid. You did feel something for the characters. The character development was just right.
Well, yeah, you can't go wrong with the guy from
Patrick Wilson.
Conjuring.
Yeah.
Conjuring,
But you felt
Insidious
sympathy
movies.
or empathy in some of those situations, and you had sympathy for the child who was just like fucking wrecked.
Yeah, and you hated, like you said, you hated the brother. And,
Yeah.
and Patrick Wilson's.
Yeah,
character
I
was
think
his
I
name,
even
Rob
felt
or
the
Ron?
boyfriend. I felt bad for him there for a while then too, because
Oh, no, yeah, he definitely
Well, he
did.
redeemed himself.
Yeah. So that was it was pretty
Travis.
good.
So do you think here's another thing is do you think Travis, even though he stayed in and touched the rock, but because they didn't go in again, he didn't come looking for him. Therefore, he would still be alive.
I don't know.
man.
Well,
Do you see what I'm saying,
In a
though?
different timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the
if they
timeline
never
where the
went
kid
in-
gets out, he's dead.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, yeah, but you're
Think
right.
about it, the
so
kid
it's
the
possible
kid
because we
because
only
who lured Travis in?
Well, my question is, even though he got the kid out and saved the boyfriend and the girlfriend, the brother and sister, I mean,
yeah.
the boy's family still comes along eventually, right? Or did the boy's family come first? That's the fucked up thing.
Yeah, well, that's the
what I'm
thing.
saying. So it's a possibility. If you got to think about it though, but if the brother and sister didn't go in, he would have never came looking for him because he came looking for him.
Well, yeah, I think,
But
so
he
they
was
were
already
driving
there to
back
let the
home.
kid out.
Yeah, I know. But
on a different timeline.
Yeah.
At some point you're going to see Steve Rogers sitting on a bench outside the church too.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's why I said it's that kind of movie. It's like trippy. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, you're right. I understand what you're saying, but in a different timeline, that probably definitely could happen. But I think we just saw the end of the movie was just one timeline.
Yeah.
There's still timelines taking place in the grass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just to look at the critical response to this. So really, it did not do well in terms of critic reviews.
Really?
Okay.
F them.
It's like a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Metacritic gives it like a 46%. Let me see. Here's a great fucking. This is how shitty reviewers are. One of the critics says, "A potentially intriguing premise rapidly is lost in the weeds during In the Tall Grass, which struggles to stretch its source material to feature length." I don't think so.
Oh. No.
No.
I think it was well written, well produced, and good. But look at this: Rotten Tomatoes, critics 36%, audience 29%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are way off the mark, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say of ones I've watched recently. I wouldn't say personally it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not giving it a
I
5
didn't.
out of
I did
5.
not like it though.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
was thoroughly entertained.
It kept my interest.
And it had me on the edge of my
Yeah.
seat for a while.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it was suspense, especially that like last half hour. The suspense level was really good.
Yeah. In fact, I think there were points in this film where the suspense and just simple uncomfortable anxiety I felt was even better than 1922,
Yeah,
Oh,
which was
definitely.
another Stephen King flick on Amazon. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree.
wow, very interesting. All right.
So what are you going to give it? Sal?
Out of 5 stars, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3.
That's what I was going to say.
All right.
3.
So we'll call it a 3.
So what?
So there you go. The American Nightmare podcast says, watch it
Which
or
is
not.
Good, I think.
Yeah.
3 out of 5.
In
is
the
good.
tall grass.
It's above
3 out of
average.
5.
2.5 would be
it's
average.
definitely
So
worth your
it's above
time
average.
if you like suspense and you like being on the edge of your seat with a little bit of horror drama. Let's call it.
Yeah, and you want to see something different in your
yeah,
horror movies.
Yeah, it's a unique storyline. The novella, which I haven't read, I heard was great, and this makes me want to pick up the novella to read it. So, next month.
We're gonna try to watch Mary Ann, I guess, or Craig and I, like I said, we talked about going to see The Lighthouse too. We could.
It's a possibility too.
do
Also,
Lighthouse or-
Zombieland 2 comes out next week.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I'm on the fence about Zombieland 2.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it, but
So how about we do The Lighthouse?
I'm game. Lighthouse.
Lighthouse and Mary Ann, since it's a series, we could
Yep.
know.
Easily watched.
And you said it's what, 6 episodes, 7 episodes?
8.
Yeah, we could knock
And
that
they're
out.
40 minutes, 45.
Yeah.
Some was a half hour, some are an hour.
So we'll do double review next week. Next month. I
Yeah,
mean?
we'll do the.
Or we can pick and choose. We can do both.
Yeah, well, let's shoot for a Lighthouse movie, and if we want to, we discuss the TV show too.
That
All
works.
right.
Okay.
And for top 5, let's.
Let's think about. Let's think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
It's getting harder and harder
It
as we
is.
get more episodes
Yeah.
in. You know.
definitely is.
Let's brainstorm. We'll in a week or so we'll figure one out.
Maybe we'll try to find something a genre to focus on.
Yeah, that
All right.
works.
Sounds good. All
All
right.
right.
Until next time, gentlemen.